Hello and welcome to Granada Reports.
Hello, on the programme this evening.
For the love of Lucy, one mum's relentless campaign to get justice for the daughter shot dead by her father in the USA. Now Jane is planning to fly to the States to get the case reopened.
There's differences in cultures, differences in laws, but ultimately it's a human story. And I really do believe that what happened to Lucy wasn't explored and thoroughly investigated.
Emotional scenes as fans of Liverpool and Newcastle come together to honour the memory of the late, great Kevin Keegan.
Back to school for Jason Donovan as a certain musical gets its stage premiere in Salford.
Yes, I like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain.
We all know the song, but can you guess the Northwest connection? Stay tuned to find out.
And in the weather, it's time for today's sunshine to move over and make way for the thunderstorms that we're expecting later in the week. All the details coming up.
So first tonight, a mother's relentless search for answers about the death of her daughter, shot dead by her father in America.
Lucy Harrington from Warrington was just 23. Now, as we've reported before on this programme, she was visiting her father, Chris Harrison's home in Texas in January last year when she was killed by a single gunshot to the chest, fired by her dad, who's never faced criminal charges.
Well, Lucy's mum, Jane, was deeply unhappy with the way the case was handled. She's now preparing to travel to America to call for the investigation into Lucy's death to be reopened.
Well, Jane is here to talk to us with her advisor after this report by our correspondent Andy Bonner about the latest in her campaign.
She was very principled, she was very intelligent, funny, but she was also incredibly sensitive too. Once you'd met her, you'd never forget how she made you feel.
19 months on from her daughter's death, Jane Coates is more determined than ever to seek justice. Lucy was shot by her father, Chris Harrison, with his pistol at his home in Texas.
I got it out and it just went off as she stood there.
A coroner here concluded that the 23-year-old had been unlawfully killed through gross negligence manslaughter. A grand jury in Texas, though, decided there was insufficient evidence to bring criminal charges.
There's differences in cultures, differences in laws, but ultimately it's a human story. And I really do believe that what happened to Lucy wasn't explored and thoroughly investigated.
Jane's now been in touch with the mother of Harry Dunn, a teenager killed in a collision with a car driven by a woman with diplomatic immunity. The retired lawyer who spearheaded that family's campaign for justice is now turning his focus on Lucy's story.
Different circumstances, but we have American authorities in both cases saying to two grieving moms that their children's lives did not matter and they were just expected to move on.
So this is not about questioning another country's justice system then?
There are gaping holes as against their own policies. So we're not asking them to do it the English way or the British way. We're asking them to do it the Texan way.
Well, we've approached the District Attorney's Office for Collins County, but so far have had no reply. A spokeswoman for the Foreign Office said they are providing consular support. They are always looking to learn lessons and that their thoughts remain with Jane.
It does feel very weary and very frustrating. I am an optimistic person by nature, so it's certainly not going to deter me.
Jane and Rad are now planning to travel to Texas to try to persuade prosecutors in person to reopen the investigation into Lucy's death. Andy Bonner, ITV News, Warrington.
Well, Jane is here now with her legal advisor, Rad Seeger, who's helping support her campaign. Welcome to the both of you. Thank you for joining us. Jane, if I could firstly start with you. This is all about uncovering the truth. Have you begun to prepare yourself about how difficult a journey this could be?
Yeah, I think since losing Lucy, it's been on a journey that I just you just never envisage you having to do anything like this. So I've been through tough times, and I think it is about walking into that pain and walking into that tough time, because I have to do what's right for Lucy. So yeah, I'm fully prepared for the challenges that are going to be ahead, but it's the love of Lucy and to do what's right for her that gives me that fire in my belly and makes sure that I continue to do that for her.
Well, just make clear that you don't think Lucy's dad deliberately shot her, do you? But what is in particular is it that you want to see reinvestigated, Jane?
I think there were a number of stark differences between what the coroner concluded in her inquest in February of this year compared to the outcome of the Prosper police investigation, which said it was accidental. The coroner said that for Lucy to have received the wound that she did, a gun would have had to have been pointed at her and a trigger pulled. Lucy's dad's alcohol was smelt on his breath, but he wasn't breathalyzed. So there's quite a lot in the investigation that we just don't feel was thoroughly explored with rigour. But I'm not legally trained. I don't know, how to conduct a police investigation, but I just do know that didn't sound right.
I mean, it's not going to be easy for Jane Rad, is it? What should she expect once she gets to the United States?
Well, I know this because I'm one of them. It isn't easy persuading American leaders to change their minds, but they're simply going to have to in this case, because in their own country, in their own state of Texas, this is not how cases should be. Cases of homicide, the most serious crime on the books, should not be investigated. So we're not asking them to apply the way we would do it here in the UK. We're simply going over there and saying, you have to do it according to your own standards, because when Chris was interviewed by the police, as you saw, he simply said the gun went off, and we do not believe that is humanly possible.
I mean, Rad, you supported Harry Dunn's family. You ended up in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. You took that case as far as you possibly could. How optimistic are you that Jane will be listened to when she gets to Texas?
Well, it's a challenge, and I don't want to lead people down the garden path. We have to move mountains here. Yeah. And but Harry Dunn's family were told they had 0% chance of getting justice. And we took that family to America with your help and the British people's help, and look what we achieved there. So we know we're doing the right thing. Lucy's life mattered, and you don't just get to kill somebody and walk away. So we will prepare as best we can when we go, hopefully shortly, and present with Jane the best possible case, and with reason and with respect. But we will ask the prosecutors to have another think. They simply have to do that.
And Jane, as we heard in Andy's report, the Foreign Office has said they've provided consular support to your family. Just tell us what that's been like, what that support has looked like for you.
It's felt, quite frankly, like I have been just left to my own devices. I can say that in terms of the consular support, it was about signposting my family for repatriation of Lucy's body, and that's where it ended, really. We didn't have any support in terms of understanding of the legal system or understanding about the process of the grand jury. It's all just a matter of bereaved families having to try and navigate that yourselves, which I just don't think is good enough.
It shouldn't have to be that way, should it, when you're going through so much already? No. Jane, Rad, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us, and we wish you all the best with it, we really do. Thank you.
Thank you.
OK, well, on to more of the day's news now. And hospitals in Greater Manchester have declared a critical incident as strike actions begin. More than 350 workers from Fairfield in Bury, Salford Royal, Rochdale Infirmary and Royal Oldham have walked out in a dispute over pay and plan to do so again later this week. The Northern Care Alliance, which runs all the hospitals affected, is warning some appointments will be postponed.
Ecstasy, ketamine and more than 200 canisters of nitrous oxide have been discovered buried in the grounds of the Creamfields Festival site. Officers from Cheshire Police recovered the drugs hidden around the site in Daresbury near Warrington ahead of the festival, which runs from Thursday to Monday. The force have suggested anyone who had buried a bag at the site and wanted it back to get in touch.
Two women remain in custody after a child fell from a first-floor window in Rochdale. The little boy was taken to hospital for treatment where he remains in a critical condition. The two women, aged 19 and 20, have been arrested on suspicion of causing a serious injury to a child.
Safety campaigners have renewed calls for smoke hoods to be fitted on all passenger planes 41 years on since the Manchester Air disaster. 55 people were killed when a plane caught fire just before takeoff. Aviation authorities argue they could slow down evacuations.
The main finding of the report after the accident was that smoke hoods should be available on planes. Had smoke hoods been available that day, of the 55 people that died, many would have survived, and that still needs addressing.
Well, next tonight, and a warning that vulnerable children in our region are being put at risk as a result of failings by local councils whose job it is to keep them safe.
Yeah, Granada Report's investigation has found serious blind spots in how councils track homeless families they've placed in temporary accommodation outside their home areas.
Yeah, of the 33 North West councils that responded to freedom of information requests, all but one appeared to have gaps or inconsistencies in their data.
Our reporter Emma Sweeney has been investigating this issue and has this special report.
Well, of the councils that responded to my request for data on homeless families being placed into temporary accommodation in another area, 17 of them told me that their records were incomplete, not held, not available in a reportable format. Now, a further 15 of them, they did provide me with figures, but when they were then cross-checked with other councils, there were found to be discrepancies, including placements recorded by one authority but not another, for example. Now, the only exception was Ribble Valley. You see there up there in that corner. That was the only council that appeared to have internally consistent data. So why does all of this matter? Well, children in these families may already be vulnerable. Moving them away from their home area can disrupt the services and the support around them. And if the council in the area where they're now living doesn't know they're there, well, it can make it harder for authorities to coordinate support and potentially harder to identify it when something's going wrong. Out-of-area placements should only be a last resort, and the sending authority has a duty to let the host authorities know about it, and they should do that within 14 days.
Some children are going to be subject to social care duties. There'll be vulnerable adults who might be subject to social care duties or receiving healthcare treatment. Those things need to continue even if they've moved local authority area, and even if that move is for a short period or for a long period, that needs to continue.
Now, St Helens on Merseyside is an interesting example, right? So the council there told us it received just 2 families in the last financial year. They couldn't tell us which councils they came from, but when we then looked at Manchester's figures, well, actually, they alone had sent 95 families to St Helens. Now, we asked Manchester about this. They told us, look, they were only there for typically 2 or 3 nights, but they did acknowledge that they needed to improve on notifications around short-term placements. Preston, another really interesting example. So they had 12 official notifications from other local authorities in the last financial year. However, they then subsequently became aware of another 20 families being placed in their area outside of their knowledge. And they say that they only became aware of these families when they started to access local services. But again, this isn't just an exercise on numbers. It has the potential to have a very human impact, especially when it comes to children.
There is a danger that people could fall through the cracks, especially like kids could fall through the cracks if nobody's keeping an eye on this. Right, and local authorities, there have been one before. I think there was a select committee 1 or 2 years ago where MPs were calling attention to this issue. So I do think it's deeply concerning.
Now, a new law means that councils will have to alert a homeless child's school and GP when they're placed into temporary accommodation. That's with the consent of the child's parents. But with councils failing to comply consistently with existing notification duties, there will inevitably be questions over how effective the new requirement will be.
Emma Sweeney reporting there. On to sport now, and a moving tributes to a footballing legend. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, really emotional scenes at St James Park and at the Etihad Stadium as the late Kevin Keegan was honoured by 3 of his old clubs yesterday. It was fitting that a month after his death, his 2 favourite teams met in their opening Premier League game. Liverpool, where Keegan won 7 major trophies, including the European Cup, joining with Newcastle fans to honour the striker they all called King Kev. He was also honoured at Manchester, back into the Premier League and into the Etihad Stadium. Well, both of those games ended with late drama for the two new bosses. Let's start with Enzo Maresca, who has his first win as manager of Manchester City, but he was made to for a 2-1 win, while Andoni Iraola.
Yes, I think because you score at the end, probably you have a better taste. Before the game, we wouldn't have signed this result, probably. But it's true that I think there is a reward, because I think we've never given up. I think we've put a lot of pressure.
It's the perfect day, to be honest. The perfect day. I was very pleased when the game started to watch the band in the other side. I was pleased at the end because we give them also the joy of the 3 points to win the game. So it was, I have to say that it was quite emotional and it was the perfect day.
But while those clubs used their get-out-of-jail cards, there was no such relief for Michael Carrick. He began promoted Hull City. Everton were the best performers of our North West club, beat Crystal Palace 2-0 at home.
Our points total away from home last year was fantastic, and if we reach that again this season, we'll be in another really good position. We would just need to make sure that our home form is a bit more regular if we can, and get a few more wins here. So to win today's was really big for us.
We came here to win, like we do any game. So to not take anything away is hugely disappointing. Yeah, it's not more than that. It's not less than that. It's a one game that we're disappointed we haven't won. So got to soak it up and come back stronger.
In the Championship, Blackburn have their first win of the new season. 2 goals in 6 minutes saw them fight back from a goal down to beat Middlesbrough 2-1. Elsewhere, Burnley and Preston lost, but Bolton remain unbeaten after holding QPR to a goalless draw. In League One, Blackpool are also unbeaten after an impressive 2-1 win at Stockport. It's not Tom Bloxham's first rodeo. Wigan lost, as did Salford, Oldham, Accrington and Rochdale in League Two, but Fleetwood managed a goalless draw with Gillingham. Now, centre-back Bobby Faulkner had to fill in as an emergency goalkeeper for Tranmere and did a decent job too, as Rovers went on to secure a 1-1 draw with Port Vale. And how about this from Josh March? That's him behind the goal line. A cheeky bit of play to clinch a 1-0 win for Crewe against Northampton and put them level on points with League Two leaders Barnet. In other football news, former Manchester City captain Steph Houghton has been honoured by her old club. At their training ground, they've unveiled a special mosaic of the former Lioness skipper who won the Super League, FA Cup and 3 League Cups in her decade at the club.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsor of the Granada Sport Report.
Now to Rugby League, and it's a 3-horse race for the league leaders' shield. Warrington Wolves remain just 2 points behind Super League leaders Leeds and Wigan, thanks to their 34-24 win over Huddersfield Giants. While St Helens are still in the hunt for a playoff spot, they finished the game with 10 men thanks to a red card and 2 sin bins, but still beat Castleford Tigers 36-12. It's all very tight at the top of Super League with just a handful of matches left before those playoffs begin.
It's getting very exciting, isn't it?
It is. It's always great this time of year. The football season starts, the Rugby League season's going. It's great.
You love it, don't you? Thanks, Chris. Now, if you grew up in the mid-2000s, a bit like me and Chris over here, or if you had young kids at this time, chances are you will still know every single word to "We Are All in This Together."
No, not the speech by David Cameron, though one of the hit songs from the Disney classic High School Musical, the global phenomenon that captured the hearts of millions.
Yeah, you're a big fan of this one, aren't you, Gamal? 20 years later, it is back with a brand new stage show, and it's premiering right here in Salford tonight.
Our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore travelled a few hundred yards to the Lowry to meet the cast, including one very popular young man you may recognise.
Here at the Lowry Theatre, and your Coach Bolton in Disney's High School Musical. This is so exciting because the Northwest gets to see it first.
Yeah, I mean, great to be back at the Lowry. I've played this place a number of times. Great to be in Salford, Greater Manchester, up north. It's always, you know, the people. It's all about the people for me. I was a fan by default, I guess, of the original film. My kids were at that age. I've been a fan of the music. It's a great sort of Disney story. It's a great dream. Transported into the role of the dad, the Coach Bolton.
And you're a bit of a musical legend, aren't you? Let's be honest.
Oh, God.
Come on.
Okay.
Joseph, Priscilla. But as Coach Bolton, you don't actually sing, do you? Do you miss singing?
No.
Do you miss getting... No.
No. I mean, look, I love to sing, you know, and I do enough of it. I think my spiritual home really is as an actor. Focus. Get your head in the game, huh? Come on.
Well, and Joe, we're used to seeing each other at Hope Mill Theatre, you know, such an intimate space that you created. How are you feeling now? Billy Big Times here at the Lowry Lyric.
It's amazing. It's to work on this scale, you know, after everything we've done at 11 years at Hope Mill and work in that intimate space that, of course, is still our home and we love it, but we've got such a fondness for the Lowry. To be making our biggest show yet ever in the main house here really is a dream come true.
Second chance, gotta grab and go. Maybe next time I'll hit the right note.
It's really special that we get to build this production for Greater Manchester, for the North, first of all, and you can see it here for the first time and experience it. It's 20 years since the movie. It's 19 years since there was a stage production of this musical, but it's just so joyous and so joyful, and it's probably the tonic we all need right now.
It's a real immersive experience, isn't it? Because you've actually got audience members on the stage. What happens if they need the loo?
Well, thankfully, the team at the Lowry are amazing and we've worked all of that out, the logistics. That's the thing we're probably most excited about. There are very few venues in the country that you could do on this scale and create a show this epic with 100 exclusive on-stage seats.
I love to pop and lock and jam and break. Casey, this is so exciting because we knew you in the iconic High School Musical film as Martha. She was popping and locking all over the show. And now you're Ms. Darbus, aren't you?
I am, and it is so fun because Martha is just so sweet and humble, and Darbus is a bit of a spitfire.
It's 20 years since the film was out. How is it for you now stepping back into East High?
I'll be honest, when I saw it for the first time, I got a little emotional. Oh. I really did. But Olivia is so cute, and she does such a beautiful job of it. And I told her, I'm like, you do it your way. You will see the original poppin' and lockin' and jammin' and breakin' from Miss Olivia, so.
I love it.
That's the way we do it. Let's get to it. Come on, everyone.
It was great to see Jason Donovan, a big friend of the Granada Reports, and High School Musical runs at the Lowry until the 19th of September.
Yeah, I'll be popping and locking over there tonight. Finally, though, to the song that everybody knows, but not everybody knows, was written by a guy from our region.
And in the personal columns, there was this letter I read. Come on, everyone. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain, if you like making love at midnight in the dunes on the Cape, I'm the love that you've looked for. Come with me and escape. Get it!
Yeah, that's Escape, otherwise known as the Pina Colada song, written and performed live by singer-songwriter Rupert Holmes in his hometown of Northwich in Cheshire at the weekend.
Yeah, I can murder a pina colada right now. You know, he was on stage at Northwich's annual Pina Colada Festival at Hartwood Hall Hotel, which was very popular with the visitors.
It certainly was.
Wow, a lovely day in Cheshire there, but the only reason our producer put that in is just so that one of us could say... So are we going to get caught in the rain as a cheesy link to the weather?
Here's some with the forecast.
Mom, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there. St Bartholomew's Day today, and according to folklore, a clear, fine day today forecasts a prosperous autumn. We shall wait and see. So we're into the last full week of meteorological summer, and the rest of the week is looking quite showery and thundery. It really is very changeable after a fine start, and it will be starting to feel more humid overnight tonight, but more on that in just a second. So here's the area of high pressure. It begins to pull away eastwards, allowing a lot more mobility, and there's a whole bundle of thunderstorms down over the Bay of Biscay, which roll their way in from the southwest. By the time we get to Friday, there's still a lot to play for, really. Still a lot of question marks over this low pressure system, where it ends up situated and how impactful it's going to be. But there will be some thunderstorms in the forecast for our part of the world. But still some bright spells as well. Rewinding to the next few hours, overnight tonight, it'll be turning increasingly humid, so our temperatures feeling very different to last night, certainly not as cold. By the time we get through to tomorrow morning, it is going to feel very different indeed. This morning it felt very autumnal. Tomorrow, much milder, much closer feeling, a lot of sunshine around, slightly warmer temperatures, but also potentially, because there's more moisture in the atmosphere, there will be a little bit more in the way of cloud around. But in Cheshire, parts of Cheshire will get up to 24 Celsius. That's the mid-70s Fahrenheit. Light winds from the east, that southeasterly wind direction will mean that we're drawing up even more humid air, and into Wednesday, a dry start to the day, but you can see we've got a band of showers and cloud moving northwards. By Thursday, more active, some showery outbreaks of thundery rain, and also for Friday, a similar kind of thing. I think the wettest day is going to be Friday, with the hottest temperatures Wednesday, Thursday. Bye-bye.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Are you a fan of the old pina colada?
I love a pina colada. Do you love a pina colada?
More of a mojito man myself.
I knew you'd be too cool for a pina colada. Should give you one tonight, though.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Weigh you up a bit. Good night.